Now, in an era where artificial intelligence is redefining productivity, innovation, and governance, this conversation will explore how India can harness AI to drive efficiency, empower decision making, and build trust in digital transformation, rightly titled AI Accelerating India. It is my pleasure to introduce a very esteemed panel of experts for this session. We already have the moderator for the panel, Mr. Shailesh Haribhakti, here with us. I would like to quickly go on and invite the chair for the panel, Shri Sanjay Bahadur, member CBDT Ministry of Finance. A visionary leader who has been instrumental in shaping India's direct tax administration and leveraging technology for transparent governance. Thank you so much, Mr. Bahadur, for being with us today. Up next, we have on the panel Shri Rajesh Jindal, Principal DG System CBIC, someone who's driving digital transformation in direct tax systems with data-led efficiency. I'm very glad to have amongst us Shri Ashish Chandra, Chief Legal and Risk Officer, Junglee India Private Limited, bringing a unique perspective on AI governance, ethics and regulatory frameworks from the corporate lens. So looking forward to another interesting and engaging session. Over to you, Mr. Haribhakti.
Thank you very much. The post-lunch sessions are always the most difficult. I do hope that all of you will be wide awake by the end of this. We have an exceptional panel and we have an absolutely wonderful chairperson. And the way we might want to run this is I'll just spend a minute or two to set the context and then I will hand it over to you, sir, to give your opening remarks and then we will raise questions to our wonderful panelists. And I would love to have participation from the floor. And maybe we'll start with that so that we don't run out of time and then we sort of find that we don't have time for questions from the floor. But let me start, ladies and gentlemen, with mentioning that I feel we are in a complete phase transformation mode with AI. So the life that we have lived so far, and the last revolution was the internet revolution which captured all of us. And now we are well into the AI revolution. It's a pivotal inflection point in our history. It's not merely accelerating India, but it is redefining what acceleration means. That is the way we need to position AI in our mind. Just imagine a scenario where the entire world is taken over by autonomous vehicles. I just heard a statistic that it will save more than 80% of all the lives that are lost today on account of automobile accidents. My personal experience riding a Waymo was absolutely stunningly exceptional. There was an attempt by somebody to actually bang into the Waymo, and the Waymo's systems were able to autonomously dodge that so-called bullet and actually put us on a safe path. So autonomy is what is going to define the way we will experience everything in our lives. So our growth for decades has been powered by intellect, service, and scale. But the AI revolution has added a fourth dimension, intelligence, that learns, reasons, and acts autonomously. Our systems are now capable of anticipating fraud before it occurs, designing tax policies that self-optimize, and running compliance engines that can adapt in real time to global regulatory change. Yet this immense power also comes with profound responsibilities. You know, there is no equivalent of this Sanskrit word in the English language called sanskar. And it is the sanskars that we will give to our AI which will drive whether the AI is going to be ethical or it is going to be the murderous animal that we spoke about in our first session. And who will give it sanskar? It will be us, the human race. It becomes our responsibility to give the sanskar to the artificial intelligence. So how do we ensure that AI strengthens trust and not erodes it? This is the way to do it. And how do we design regulatory and tax systems that are not just digital, which they are, but deeply ethical and explainable? So India stands uniquely positioned, a digital public infrastructure that is envied globally. We are the #1 digital nation on the planet, a demographic dividend fluent in technology, and a governance vision rooted in inclusion. We are on the brink of building the world's first AI-anchored fiscal architecture, one that combines data sovereignty with algorithmic transparency, all within a framework, I hope, of quantum-safe encryption, which is something that I have been requesting Mr. Jindal to advocate so that the top 500 companies in this country take the lead in getting all their data encrypted using quantum-safe encryption. So today's dialogue is not about AI as a tool, but AI as a national capability, one that can multiply productivity. I must tell you one amazing data point, because our speaker just before lunch mentioned data points. Nobody on the planet is now going to accept a productivity rise less than 20%. Historically, we have never experienced more than 5% productivity rise in any period of time. And now the expectation is that at a minimum, we should raise our productivity by at least 20%. And therefore, we must multiply productivity, compress timelines, and even transform how citizens experience governance. So let us explore how this intelligence, human and artificial, can merge to create a faster, fairer, and future-ready India. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Haribhakti. Before coming for the session, I was wondering what makes me an expert on AI or part of AI, which is ML. And then as I was reflecting, because I'm not an engineer, I'm not a programmer. As I was reflecting, it struck me that any aspect of governance today cannot ignore this technology. Whether it is in public service delivery or it is in any kind of regulation, AI is there as an enabler, and it's something that no government agency can afford to avoid. As a consequence, we in the CBDT, and my colleague will talk about indirect taxes. In direct taxes, because it is something which connects with the taxpayer very personally. So we are very conscious about data integrity, data security, and also we have in today's world immense amount of data which is available. How to use it to make tax governance, tax administration non-obtrusive and taxpayer friendly. Because direct tax, if it does not enable, it only harms economy. So in CBDT, that sanskar that you were talking about, we are extremely cautious, we are very aware and very sensitive, and because it is direct tax, therefore we have citizens giving us direct feedback. When we started using machine learning, I would say in a very rudimentary manner about half a decade back, it was primarily used to generate some kind of reports. But today, we have reached a level using machine learning and artificial intelligence that we are able, in fact, to help the taxpayer towards compliance. We understand that while you are leading an economic life, while you are busy doing your business profession, things inadvertently may escape. And that will result in some kind of a trigger from tax administration. We don't want that to happen. We are very happy to have, to give a helping hand to the honest taxpayer. And in that, over the past 1 year, the CBDT has initiated an AI-based nudge approach. Originally, this was a theory proposed by Richard Thaler, an economist who won the Nobel Prize for that. CBDT is using a lot of AI tools where when there is a compliance issue, instead of immediately jumping into some kind of enforcement action, the taxpayer is given a soft nudge, which is completely unobtrusive. And we have had remarkable success as a result of that. We have seen compliance happening, and the cost is minuscule because AI generates certain MIS, and automatically the taxpayer is now reminded. And that is a fantastic experience over the last 1 year that we have had. In terms of tax administration and governance, naturally, any citizen would expect transparency, would expect efficiency, and would expect speed. Now, this is where that ML has been used over the past 5 years, as I said. Increasingly, ML is being used, not only to ensure a higher level of compliance, but also to make our internal business processes, in a sense, objective and fair. So when the citizen interacts with income tax department as a taxpayer, there is expectation of receiving a very fair treatment. Because after all, the vernacular or the language in which a citizen speaks to the state is through taxes. And when this conversation is happening, it is a natural expectation that there should be justness, there should be fairness. And use of ML, to give a very small example, TIOL itself, it's a repository of case laws and a lot of information which our officers use and professionals use. Now, that database is currently, there is a team which is working on creating some kind of a database where issues and facts can be fed in, and very objectively, the officer who is looking at those facts will be guided in a certain direction. So there will be uniformity of application of law, uniformity of understanding of law, and uniformity of interpretation of facts in context of law. And this kind of a machine learning is also being used. CBDT has now very well known internal system where data is collected from various sources, and through machine learning, certain you can say a certain direction is given to those who are monitoring tax compliance. Now, this data, without the use of machine learning, would call for intrusive action, such as inquiry letters, such as surveys. But machine learning has enabled our officers, without going out and intruding upon the life or businesses of taxpayer, we are able to do a certain kind of risking. At the first stage, as I said, AI enables us to give a nudge. And if that is not enough, then ML helps us identify very specific cases. So it's not broad spectrum antibiotic that we are talking about. It's a very specific antibiotic which is given. And this, from what we hear, we all have friends in business profession. From what we hear, that people are now slowly but surely coming around to the point that compared to 10 years ago, today tax administration has become less invasive. It has become little more sensitive to issues that taxpayer raise. And it has also enabled us to help certain other organizations. Our data, which is sifted through machine learning, is often called upon by other law enforcement agencies and even other government agencies and state government when they are looking at certain information to enable them to deliver welfare initiative. So all these things would not be possible except for the technology of AI and ML. And in the future, I can only say that 5 years hence, the shape it will take, the contribution it will make in terms of transparency, in terms of fairness, objectivity, it will be there for everyone to see. From that perspective, I think this session is very exciting for me because it will be learning from experts here. And as you said in the last session, that one must learn to learn all the time. And I'm very happy to be here and take part in what I believe will be a very, very active discussion. Thank you.
Sir, as a taxpayer and as a person who has been in the profession for multiple decades, I want to thank you publicly for the fantastic work that the direct taxes framework has delivered to the tax-paying public. It is exceptional. In fact, just before lunch we were discussing that just the conversation about direct taxes has gone out of the whole mode, because everything is so smooth. You get your refund directly into your bank account, you have a faceless assessment, and this is just exceptional and remarkable. Thank you very much. I want to open this up to the audience first, because I don't want us to run out of time and then be scrambling. So please raise, yes, give a mic there. Can someone give a mic? Because of the ambient sound, we won't be able to catch it.
Thank you. So I have two observations to make and two questions. One, I think the AI is now ensuring that the professionals are no longer information provider, but they are information assessors. Because the taxpayers, number of them, have already found out what the possible legal positions are before even approaching a tax professional, number one. Secondly, I feel that every intermediary is at a risk because of the AI. First, the small, and as we proceed towards the larger ones. So the first question is that as a professional, what is the change in the role which is seen because of the AI doing part of what a professional is doing today? B, for the departments, I feel that possibly there is a scope with the AI to provide the services which many professionals are providing today to their tax payers. In that, at least making the tax consultants run for their money, if not completely eliminating them. Thank you, sir.
Brilliant. Would any of you want to answer that? Yes, please. Yeah, that's your domain, actually.
Let me answer it with a small anecdotal narration. As all of you know that Income Tax Act has been recently revamped. It has been simplified, and it was a Herculean task because it was done by officers of the department. There was no consultant or anyone outside. Of course, stakeholders were consulted, but primarily every comma, full stop, every sentence was done by officers, which means professionals here. So I'm now interpreting your question in the context of this example, and your concern about what will happen to the professionals. So I recall an incident where there is a very complicated long section called section 1026. It's a very long question, and so this team of officers was contemplating how to make it simple and maybe make it shorter. And this team of youngsters, they sat with, I think, ChatGPT or Perplexity. And ChatGPT simply threw up its hands and said, this is too complicated. Perplexity tried to do something, but it was obviously not satisfying. The point I'm making is AI can be an enabler. If you have used AI, you know that even asking the right question or giving certain data and then asking for the right kind of interpretation, that's a professional thing. So I do not think that professionals will go out of business. They'll be, in fact, this will enable them to guide their clients, to guide their stakeholders in a much better way. And I don't have those apprehensions.
Yeah, I'll just basically say that next 6 minutes will give you the answer, and how you as professional and everybody over here, you have brilliant AI, like tax mind. So imagine that if everybody mind is basically becoming their AI agent, and then democratizing the tax kind of simplification to 145 crore people. I'll just ask people over there to showcase a very small AI agentic. I have built it, not for the professionals, not for the department, not for the rich people, but the poorest of the poor, GST assessees, whose only one fear whenever they get a notice from GST department or GST officer कि मुझे जेल तो नहीं हो जाएगी, और अगर मुझे जेल होगी तो मुझे bail कैसे मिलेगी, right? So I would just ask them to please play. 6 minutes, it will give you full perspective.
Please select your preferred language to continue. Here are the options. 1. Hindi. 2. Bangla, Telugu. 8. Kannada. 9. बहुत बढ़िया. चलिए हिंदी में आगे बढ़ते हैं. प्रश्न 1, आपका व्यवसाय का प्रकार क्या है? पब्लिक लिमिटेड कंपनी, हाँ. प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनी, गैर लाभकारी कंपनी, सेक्शन 8 कंपनी, लिमिटेड लायबिलिटी पार्टनरशिप, रजिस्टर्ड पार्टनरशिप, प्राइवेट लिमिटेड. ठीक है, आपने प्राइवेट लिमिटेड कंपनी चुना है. अब अगले चरण पर चलते हैं. क्या आप जानना चाहेंगे कि आपको गिरफ्तार किया जा सकता है? गिरफ्तारी से कैसे बचा जा सकता है? आपको कौन गिरफ्तार कर सकता है? आपको जमानत कौन दे सकता है? आपका न्यूनतम और अधिकतम जेल कार्यकाल क्या हो सकता है? क्या आप कंपाउंडिंग पेनल्टी देकर गिरफ्तारी से बच सकते हैं? जीएसटी अधिकारियों की किस प्रक्रिया पर ध्यान देना चाहिए? गिरफ्तारी के दौरान क्या आपके संपत्ति या बैंक खाते फ्रीज हो सकते हैं? और क्या ईडी आपके खिलाफ पीएमएनए के तहत जांच शुरू कर सकती है? यदि आप सभी के लिए हाँ कहते हैं या कुछ विशिष्ट विकल्प चुनते हैं तो हम आगे बढ़ेंगे. अगर आपका जवाब नहीं है तो हम यही सेवा समाप्त करेंगे.
सभी के लिए हाँ.
बहुत बढ़िया, आपने सभी विकल्पों के लिए हाँ कहा है. अब हम आगे बढ़ते हैं और अगला सवाल पूछते हैं. प्रश्न 2, आप इस व्यवसाय में किस पद पर हैं? केवल एक विकल्प चुनें. चेयरमैन, मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर, फाइनेंस या अकाउंटेंट्स के प्रमुख या ट्रेजरर, टैक्स हेड, व होल टाइम डायरेक्टर, पार्ट टाइम डायरेक्टर, डर्ड इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर, साधारण.
That's CFO. So CFOs please
आपने
be
चुना
aware.
है कि आप CFO या फाइनेंस अकाउंट्स के प्रमुख हैं. अब अगला सवाल पूछते हैं. प्रश्न 3, आपको क्या अनुमान है कि जीएसटी के तहत आप पर कितना देनदारी बन सकती है? 1 करोड़ से कम, हाँ 1 करोड़ से 2 करोड़ के बीच, 2 करोड़ से 5 करोड़ के बीच, घा 5 करोड़ से अधिक. कृपया इनमें से केवल एक विकल्प चुनें.
5 करोड़ से अधिक.
समझ गया. आपने चुना कि आपके ऊपर कस्टम्स अधिनियम के तहत जांच चल रही है. अब आपके सभी सवालों के उत्तर देने का समय है. मैं आपको उन तमाम पहलुओं के बारे में बताने जा रहा हूं जो आपने जानना चाहा था.
ये सब आंसर्स हैं जो कि
क्या आपको
AI को
गिरफ्तार
train
किया जा
हुआ है.
सकता है? हाँ, आपको गिरफ्तार किया जा सकता है क्योंकि आपने बिना बिल के सामान बेचने जैसा अपराध चुना है और आपकी देनदारी 5 करोड़ से अधिक है. ऐसे मामलों में गिरफ्तारी संभव है, लेकिन यह अधिकारी की रीजन टू बिलीव यानी विश्वास करने के कारण पर निर्भर करता है. आप गिरफ्तारी से बच सकते हैं. गिरफ्तारी से बचने के लिए आपको पूरा सहयोग देना होगा, हर समन पर हाजिर होना होगा और अधिकारियों के साथ सहयोग करना होगा. अगर अभी तक कोई शोमॉज नोटिस जारी नहीं हुआ है तो आप अधिकारियों को बता सकते हैं कि आपका मामला अभी तकनीकी स्तर पर है और कोई तक का फैसला नहीं हुआ है. इस तरह आप गिरफ्तारी को टाल सकते हैं. गाद को कौन गिरफ्तार कर सकता है? आपको वही अधिकारी गिरफ्तार कर सकते हैं जिन्हें प्रधान आयुक्त या आयुक्त कमिश्नर ने धारा 69 के तहत अधिकृत किया हो. आपको ध्यान रखना चाहिए कि गिरफ्तारी का आदेश सही तरीके से जारी हुआ है जिसमें अधिकारी का नाम, पद और गिरफ्तारी का कारण लिखा होना चाहिए. आपको जमानत कौन दे सकता है? क्योंकि आपका मामला 5 करोड़ से ऊपर है और ये गैर जमानती प्रकृति का हो सकता है, इसलिए आपको जमानत के लिए मजिस्ट्रेट के सामने जाना होगा. जीएसटी अधिकारी जमानत नहीं पाएंगे. आपका न्यूनतम और अधिकतम जेल कार्यकाल क्या हो सकता है? इस मामले में अधिकतम सजा 5 साल तक हो सकती है और न्यूनतम सजा आमतौर पर 6 महीने होती है अगर अदालत कोई विशेष कारण.
So I am pausing it here and I am showing it to you how it's been built and how the professional can build their own AI. That's called as humanized AI. So I'll just show it to you in the English aspect, and on each question I'll also demonstrate. I'll share you my understanding. I'm qualified to talk about GST here, but whatever I have learned and researched and practiced to build this AI for the masses in all the languages. So it won't take more than 2 minutes. I know this is the most boring session, but yeah. So it is the AI agent for GST arrest and bail, okay, information. All the constitutional languages are there. It's been trained for all, but I'll do it in English. Your first question, I mean, definitely, okay, we would want to know under GST law that what's the nature of company? What is your role in the company because of vicarious liability, joint and several liabilities? And, all these other questions which we are asking that, all these are the top of the mind, questions. Now it will ask about what's your position regarding direct liability, joint and several, and also vicarious liability. I have chosen CFO. And then the next question is on the quantum, because this will decide the quantum of punishment, bailable and non-bailable offenses. That's very important for the AI to know. And the next question which has been trained, it will come. Okay. Nature of offenses. So all these are non-bailable. I have selected D, so it will not show me the bailable offenses. So each and every question is being trained for the right context and law at the background. And then, are you been previously convicted? Because if you are a repeated offender, bail is not possible. And it is like in the section 132 or GST Act, everything is trained. Any show cause notice has been issued. I have said yes, so it will not ask you about the tax payments and all, right? But these are the defenses available for bail by Supreme Court of India, right? And all these things, that are they calling you as it is, or there is a legal process started? And then, do you have a legal? Because here we have the order and the judgment which say if there are a matter of interpretation, you can get the bail. And then here, if you have opinion, because the court said opinion from a senior lawyer, CA, is good. We're also talking about attorney-client privilege over here. These are the ED offenses. Now, this is the entire answer, right? So every answer is being coded through law to ensure that AI is not hallucinating, it is not giving you the right information, because it's not meant for professional, it's not meant for corporate, it's meant for the lowest level of GST SSC, which are, I don't know, maybe 10, 15, 20 crore, right? Now, I mean, everybody has a fear. So this is how you can also create your own AI, and you don't have to fear the AI. If you can control the AI, if you can put your brain into AI, the world is yours, and you would be able to reach out to the needs of crores of Indians. So yeah, I'll just end over here.
Absolutely brilliant. And I think, sir, you will be surprised that 20 years ago at the Indian Merchants Chamber, we had created a 9-page Income Tax Act. And we had tried to propose it to the then finance minister. Summarily rejected, of course. But I think, every day the quantum of tokens that AI can deal with is rising exponentially. And therefore, if you would please put the same section 1023 again through ChatGPT 5, I think you'll get an answer of simplicity. And I think another area where really big impact can happen is if common areas for appeal can be brought together across all commissionerates, and a common auto-generated decision is made available to the SSC. That can transform the trust in the tax administration.
So this last suggestion, there is a very enthusiastic young team which is working on that. And, appeals is one area where we want uniformity the most. And this team is working on trying to use ML in enabling commissioner appeals. So let's see how it goes. And of course, this is such a vast field, and every day the technology is improving so much. So in another year or so, we may have some kind of an appeal module.
This is breakthrough. So you have your answer. It's a very positive situation. Yes, sir.
Because you're all my guests. Huh? Okay. Thank you for that wonderful presentation, but I have a small doubt. The AI tells me I cannot be arrested or I can be arrested. But if I'm really arrested, even when I cannot be arrested, because the commissioner doesn't know or does believe that let me arrest this fellow. The inspector who comes to arrest me can sometimes come without the authorization from the commissioner. And then the AI answer is, no, you can't be arrested. These are the acts. And
it said that you will be arrested because it's 5 crore plus.
Yeah, I'll be arrested, fine.
And you are CFO.
And I'm eligible for bail or not eligible for bail. But if I go to a lawyer, he will get me bail. But if I go to AI, will AI be able to get me bail? Because the magistrate will be reading the GST Act for the first time in his life. He doesn't know whether commissioner has to give permission, whether inspector can arrest, whether it's a bailable or non-bailable offense, whether it's a cognizable or non-cognizable offense. But AI tells me, you'll be arrested, you get bail.
So this is like, I'll say that when you meet with an accident, you go to an emergency ward for emergency treatment, but ultimately you have to go to the operation theater and the ward. This basically give you a first-hand information, like Sanjay sir said, कि it's an art of asking the right question. अब एक normal SSC को पता ही नहीं होता कि मुझे पूछना क्या है वकील से. So this is basically, giving you, ये सवाल में ही जवाब होता है. But yes, AI will not replace the lawyers, but this gives information as a leading information. This also gives an email ID where the user can approach to connect with the right lawyer.
Thank you.
I will suggest that as Mr. Haribhakti used Sanskari AI, तो आप इसको
So it's like, you have in the world of, Mr. Shailesh bhai, you have compliance kind of professionals and you have bail professionals. So this is, solving a very niche problem that if you get a call and you have a fear to be arrested, because the more narrow AI is, the better it is, the better sanskari it is, the better authentic it is. There could be one narrow AI which could deal on the compliances also. But that's a totally different ball altogether. Yeah.
So what has happened is that we moved from attention, which was the genesis of AI, to awareness, to action, and now to autonomous action. That's the hierarchy along which we have risen. And so there will be a time at some point where with enough querying, you'll be able to get the ultimate answer that you might have got from a tax professional. Because ultimately the tax professional is also accessing the same data that an AI can access. So that's where the equivalence will come about. But no fear of the profession being decimated. It'll only be enhanced in its value. One more question we have from the house. This is so much better than asking all my canned questions. So please go ahead, if there's any other question.
Could I just share an anecdote in support of what you said? Had a last moment brief at the Supreme Court. It was a matter on the Uttar Pradesh Revenue Code. Difference between two very complicated sections. My associate got ChatGPT to put a table highlighting the difference, not some AI, I wouldn't
Whatever,
know the
doesn't
name,
matter.
some AI, tabulated the difference, and I used it effectively at the Supreme Court. So you see,
It does
saves
work,
time.
no question.
Simplifies.
Which was not existing.
One court gave a judgment which was not existing. Lawyers prepare briefs which are not existing. The problem is when somebody starts verifying. If you don't verify, there's no
Correct.
problem.
Becomes the law.
Rajesh ji,
becomes the law.
आप बताएं, where do you see the ultimate?
it becomes rigid. But AI model, it will continue to learn. Modus operandi continue to evolve. Trade continues to evolve. New commodities are coming. So AI is a self-learning model. And next will be customs has to play the role of facilitator and accelerator. So litigation, arrest, these will arise if somebody makes misrepresentations. or suppression of right. So sometimes unintentional suppression of right, unintentional misdeclarations can be avoided with the help of AI. If correct declaration helps faster clearances, we save a lot of litigation down the line. And lot of energy of the officers is also depleted.
Sir, this is so brilliant. You know, I've been advocating that instead of there being a data entry-driven paradigm, we should have a data capture-driven paradigm, which will achieve the same result that you are thinking. That if what you have done physically is represented correctly as an interaction and captured correctly, then the whole system will throughput it in an accurate manner. And all this rigmarole that we have to go through can perhaps be avoided. But let me, because we have just 1.5 minutes left of the session, sir, would you like to give us a stirring message of how AI and taxes can combine?
So, when I reflect about the future of AI and the relationship between taxpayer and tax authority, AI is definitely going to be an enabler on both sides. As far as the authority is concerned, it will be an enabler of its workflow processes, of which something like an appeal AI, which will help our commissioner appeals, that is an example. Also, when an assessing officer is today looking at a fact and trying to understand the law, what he does is maybe go to a database of case laws. And database, many of them are dynamic, where questions can be put, and simpler questions in favor of revenue, if that filter is put, then the assessing officer is able to get a list of case laws. In future, I see a time very soon where whatever query is in the mind of the assessing officer, he will be able to, or she will be able to make that query and receive a kind of smart guidance. It will not ever replace the executive decision making of the officer, because after all, I believe that human intelligence will always be superior to artificial intelligence, but it will do a lot of guidance in the same manner and magnified manifold that currently these databases are doing, enabling him to search for case laws. On the flip side, in terms of taxpayers, already we are having returns which are pre-populated. And sometimes some of the information has to be fed by the taxpayer. Now, I see in future that before the return form is submitted, even the taxpayer may have some queries which he is not very sure about. Sometimes the professionals may not be, that good. Or now, even from that point, the taxpayer or the professional who is helping will be able to get the guidance. As I said, in use of AI in giving the nudge today has been so successful. And those who have been nudged, some of them that I have spoken to, they are actually thankful to the administrative machinery, which is just reminding them that please check, is this figure correct? And that has saved them from tax default. So all these things are bound to happen in future.
I'll just say that, on the first point, I am hijacking the next session by 1 minute. in terms of, you said case law and all, what is, now you don't have to really get the case law, you can just query it. So what we have done is that our industry was facing about $20 billion worth of retrospective GST, and I'm talking about the gaming industry, right? And then we have been fighting this battle for last 2-3 years, and recently we had back-to-back 35 days of Supreme Court hearing. What we did at Junglee in-house, and we were the lead petitioners, is the entire docket, because we being a party, we get the petition and written submission, oral argument summary, everything we got, we tokenized it, we embedded it on top of a large language layer. Then every day, Supreme Court ka proceedings, we were recording it. And then, we had trained our AI on each of judges' voices, senior counsel voices. So in 5 seconds, we used to get the summary and we used to feed it in the AI. And now, because we have built a very micro AI on GST matters on gaming, it has become so rich of 1 lakh pages kind of training that, it gives you absolutely accurate and meticulous kind of answer on any query you want, including probability of victory on a particular point of law, that way. And you don't need, I don't want to say that lawyers will not have a job and all, but you don't need now, battery of lawyers. You need some sort of smart lawyers who can work along with you, and then 1 or 2 very super senior counsels. And then, there's a high probability that you could have a very strong litigation strategy.
Superb. So this section, this whole session can be summarized along 2 vectors. One vector is from nudge to advise, to action, to assessment, to dispute resolution. All of that driven by AI. The other vector that we discovered, thanks to the fantastic interactions, is that you can go from learning to assessing, to filing, to litigating, to winning, all driven by AI. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, the thought that we all need to take away is go all in, co-pilot. Don't leave home without the polymath in your pocket. Thank you.
A big thank you to all the panelists. That was a really forward-looking conversation. Can I have you all please come forward on the stage for the group photograph? And I would also like to request Anuj from TIOL to kindly present our panelists with a small token of appreciation. I think the conversation truly highlighted that if tech meets policy and purpose, from that comes a lot of possibilities, even when we talk about taxation. Thank you so much, Mr. Shailesh Haribhakti, for being here despite your very busy schedule. He's flown in this morning and has to fly out. Thank you so much. Can we see him off with a round of applause, please? He's added a lot of value to the event today through various sessions. Thank you so much, sir. And a big thank you to all the panelists for sharing their insights and perspectives with us. Thank you once again.